tone morphed into the high-pitched, constant tone. "This is a test of the emergency alert system," I said out loud to myself. The tone stopped, and so did my car. I looked down at the dash, and all the gauges dropped. The engine was making an awkward noise, being forced to turn over by the momentum. Oh, shit. Well, there went my early weekend. I pulled the shifter into neutral and turned the key. Nothing. I coasted the car to the shoulder and stopped. Just outside of Tallahassee, I-10 got pretty rural real quick. It also went through a hilly area, up and down. I was in the bottom of a small valley created by two of these hills. There were no cars in the westbound lane, just me. I sat there for a minute, shaking my head. "Damn you, Murphy," I said. Some people believe they have a guardian angel following them and looking over their shoulders. If anyone was following me around, looking over my shoulder, it was Murphy, and that prick had a horrible sense of humor. I often cursed him and the gods for messing with me. The gods refers back to when Greeks believed there were gods above that interfered with the lives of men for entertainment. Sometimes it really felt that way. And this was one of those times. I reached over onto the seat beside me and picked up my phone. The BlackBerry had a black screen. Dead. It was plugged into the charger, so what the hell? I looked at the charger, and the little red LED that was always on wasn't there. Oh, this was just fucking great. The car died, there was no power, and the phone went at exactly the same moment. I sat there for a minute, and the calculator in my head started doing some math. First, no car had passed me since my car stopped. Nothing was moving east or west on the interstate. Second, the emergency alert on the radio just stopped right when the car did. 1 and 2 equal I'm screwed, I thought. I stepped out of the car and put on my light coat. People think it doesn't get cold in Florida, but this November was rather cold. Fortunately, the wind wasn't blowing, and it was clear and sunny. I looked both ways and didn't see anything moving. I walked around to the passenger side and opened the door. Lying on the passenger seat was my everyday carry, or EDC bag, and a Maxpedition Devil Dog. I am a gear freak and love Maxpedition products. I unzipped it and pulled out my Springfield XD-45 and tucked it into my waistband on my right side and covered it with my shirt and coat. I decided to walk back toward the west. Having just passed Tallahassee, it was the closest thing for help. I started walking west and crested the hill after about 15 minutes. My knees got a little weak. There were cars all over the road, on the shoulder, in the travel lanes, and in the median. There were people milling about with no clear purpose. I looked back to the east, and it was the same sight over the next hill. Walking back to my car, I carried on a rather lively conversation in my head. Okay, there are only two things that could cause this. An electromagnetic pulse, EMP, or a coronal mass ejection, CME, I said to myself. "Does it matter?" I replied. "Not really. The result is the same," I countered. Getting back to the car, I sat down for a minute and started to think. Okay, you have prepared for this very thing. You have everything you need in the back to walk home. Oh shit, the girls. Mel. Where are they? Are they okay? I was nauseous. I had to close my eyes and lay my head back. The bile was rising in my throat, throwing the door open. I vomited violently until I thought my throat would tear in half. I closed the door and sat back in my seat, leaning my head on the rest. Reaching over to the bag in the passenger seat, I pulled an OD green handkerchief out and wiped my mouth. Oh God, the girls and Mel. I groaned out loud. What were they going to do? I know what they're going to do. We've talked about this. There is a plan. You need to get your ass home, I spoke out loud to myself. Living in a small town has benefits. Mel can walk to the school if she has to get the girls. But she has the Suburban, and its comings should start no matter what. I looked at my watch. It was almost 5 o'clock. Too late to try to leave, but still enough light to start getting ready. I have to get home as fast as I can, I said aloud. Time to get moving. My watch was an inexpensive Armatron automatic that my wife bought me. It didn't need a battery, and as long as I moved around, or wound it every 48 hours,